Hello friends, this course on discrete mathematics is only a one semester course. So, there are a lot of topics that it does not cover or does not cover in much depth. But the hope is that this will give you a foundation of skills that you can build on as you need to, and particularly to give you a bit of mathematical maturity. The basic understanding of what mathematics is and how mathematical definitions and proofs work. Introduction to discrete mathematics. Discrete mathematics is the branch of mathematics dealing with objects that can assume only distinct separated values. The term discrete mathematics is therefore used in contrast with continuous mathematics, which is the branch of mathematics dealing with objects that can vary smoothly and which includes, for example, calculus. Whereas discrete objects can often be characterized by integers, continuous objects require real numbers. The study of how discrete objects combine with one another and the probabilities of various outcomes is known as combinatorics. Other fields of mathematics that are considered to be a part of discrete mathematics include graph theory and the theory of computation. Topics in number theory such as congruences and recurrence relations are also considered part of discrete mathematics. The study of topics in discrete mathematics usually includes the study of algorithms, their implementations and efficiencies. Discrete mathematics is the mathematical language of computer science, and as such its importance has increased dramatically in recent decades. Computation is something that you can't see and can't touch, and yet thanks to the efforts of generations of hardware engineers, it obeys strict, well-defined rules with astonishing accuracy over long periods of time. So, in order to understand computations, we need a language that allows us to reason about things we can't see and can't touch, that are too big for us to understand, but that nonetheless follow strict, simple, well-defined rules. We would like our reasoning to be consistent. Any two people using the language should, barring the errors, obtain the same conclusions from the same information. Computer scientists are good at inventing languages, so we could invent a new one for this particular purpose, but we do not have to. The exact same problem has been vexing philosophers, theologians and mathematicians for much longer than computers have been around, and they have had a lot of time to think about how to make such a language work. Philosophers and theologians are still working on the consistency part, but mathematicians mostly got it in the earlier 20th century. The history of discrete mathematics has involved a number of challenging problems which have focused attention within areas of the field. In graph theory, much research was motivated by attempts to prove the four-color theorem, first stated in 1852, but not proved until 1976 by Kenneth Apel and Wolfgang Heiken using substantial computer assistance. In logic, the second problem of David Hilbert's list of open problems presented in 1900 was to prove that the axioms of arithmetic are consistent. Gödel's second incompleteness theorem, proved in 1931, showed that this was not possible, at least not within arithmetic itself. Hilbert's 10th problem was to determine whether a given polynomial Diophantine equation with integer coefficients has an integer solution. In 1970, Yuri Matsievich proved that this could not be done. The need to break German codes in World War II led to advances in cryptography and theoretical computer science, with the first programmable digital electronic computer being developed in England with the guidance of Alan Turing and his seminal work on computable numbers. At the same time, military requirements motivated advances in operations research. The Cold War meant that cryptography remained important, with fundamental advances such as public key cryptography being developed in the following decades. Operations research remained important as a tool in business and project management, with the critical path method being developed in 1950s. The telecommunication industry has also motivated advances in discrete mathematics, particularly in graph theory and information theory. Formal verification of statements in logic has been necessary for software development of safety critical systems and advances in automated theorem proving have been driven by this need. Computational geometry has been an important part of the computer graphics incorporated into modern video games and computer aided design tools. Several fields of discrete mathematics, particularly theoretical computer science, graph theory and combinatorics, are important in addressing the challenging bioinformatics problems associated with understanding the tree of life. Currently, one of the most famous open problems in theoretical computer science is the P is equal to NP problem, which involves the relationship between the complexity classes P and NP. The 5 elements which go into the study of discrete mathematics are: mathematical reasoning. Students must understand mathematical reasoning in order to read, comprehend and construct mathematical arguments. We will see a discussion of mathematical logic, which serves as the foundation for the subsequent discussions of methods of proof. The technique of mathematical induction is stressed through many different types of examples of such proofs and a careful explanation of why mathematical induction is a valid proof technique. Combinatorial analysis. An important problem solving skill is the ability to count or enumerate objects. The stress is on performing combinatorial analysis to solve counting problems and analyze algorithms, not on applying formulae. Discrete structures. A course in discrete mathematics should teach students how to work with discrete structures, which are the abstract mathematical structures used to represent discrete objects and relationships between these objects. These discrete structures include sets, permutations, relations, graphs, trees and finite state machines. Algorithmic thinking. Certain classes of problems are solved by the specification of an algorithm. After an algorithm has been described, a computer program can be constructed implementing it. The mathematical portions of this activity, which include the specification of the algorithm, the verification that it works properly and the analysis of the computer memory and time required to perform it, will all be discussed. Applications and modeling. Discrete mathematics has applications to almost every conceivable area of study. There are many applications to computer science and data networking, as well as applications to such diverse areas as chemistry, biology, linguistics, geography, business and the internet. These applications are natural and important uses of discrete mathematics are not contrived. Modeling with discrete mathematics is an extremely important problem solving skill which students have the opportunity to develop by constructing their own models. As we have seen, discrete mathematics is a very broad area and is a rapidly growing branch in mathematics. It has many applications in business and is strongly related to computer science. The name is introduced this century for a number of topics that deal with finite states, example coding problems, pathfinding problems, recursion, production graphs and population prediction matrices. The problems turn to such areas as finding structures in situations, turning a situation into a model and learning how to assess this model. There is a tendency all over the world to pay more attention to discrete mathematics in education. Reasons for this can be found both outside and inside education. The main reason from outside education is the increased importance of discrete mathematics in society, which is a result of the recent developments in computational sciences. From an educational point of view, there are also several arguments to give discrete mathematics a more prominent place in the curriculum. In the first place, discrete mathematics in itself is worth to be taught because it can contribute to general goals of mathematics education like problem solving, recognizing structure, reasoning, learning to generalize and mathematical modeling. In the second place, there are didactical arguments to teach discrete mathematics. Whereas the physical or material world is most often modeled by continuous mathematics, that is the calculus and prerequisite ideas from algebra, geometry and trigonometry, the non-material world of information processing requires the use of discrete or discontinuous mathematics. Computer technology too wields an ever-increasing influence on how mathematics is created and used. In light of these facts, it is crucial that all students have experiences with the concepts and methods of discrete mathematics. It is often seen that discrete mathematics promotes the making of mathematical connections, provides a setting for problem solving with real world applications. It capitalizes on technological settings and it fosters critical thinking and mathematical reasoning. Another argument for discrete mathematics is that the subject is valuable in education for didactical reasons. In our opinion, a discrete approach can contribute to the learning and teaching of rather classic learning areas like algebra and calculus. Discrete problems are quite often rather easy to understand, which does not mean that these problems are easy to solve. Two very famous counterexamples are the four-color problem and Fermat's last theorem. Is this equivalent with the fact that the principle of counting is easier than the principle of measurement, where very soon limit processes and infinity play a role? Both adults and even very young children are easily fascinated by patterns, which often have a numerical basis or can be analyzed by counting something. This makes looking at patterns or regularities a good starting point for the learning of mathematics. We hold a plea to make use of these phenomena to start with discrete activities. In our opinion, discrete mathematics can become an important chain in a long learning sequence, from arithmetic to calculus with the algebra in between. Discrete mathematics in cryptography. The field of cryptography, which is the study of how to create security structures and passwords for computers and other electronic systems, is based entirely on discrete mathematics. This is partly because computers send information in discrete or separate and distinct bits. Number theory, one important part of discrete math, allows cryptographers to create and break numerical passwords. Because of this quantity of money and the amount of confidential information involved, cryptographers must first have a solid background in number theory to show they can provide secure passwords and encryption methods. Relational databases. Relational databases play a part in almost every organization that must keep track of employees, clients or resources. A relational database connects the traits of the certain piece of information. For example, in a database containing client information, the relational aspect of this database allows the computer system to know how to link the client's name, address, phone number and other pertinent information. This is all done through the discrete math concepts of sets. Sets allow information to be grouped and put in order. Since each piece of information and each trait belonging to that piece of information is discrete, the organization of such information in a database requires discrete mathematical methods. Uses for discrete mathematics in logistics. Logistics is the study of organizing the flow of information, goods and services. Without discrete mathematics, logistics would not exist. This is because logistics makes heavy use of graphs and graph theory, a subfield of discrete mathematics. Graph theory allows complex logistical problems to simplify into graphs consisting of nodes and lines. A mathematician can analyze these graphs according to the methods of graph theory to determine the best routes for shipping or solving other logistical problems. Computer algorithms. Algorithms are the rules by which a computer operates. These rules are created through the laws of discrete mathematics. A computer programmer uses discrete mathematics to design efficient algorithms. This design includes applying discrete mathematics to determine the number of steps an algorithm needs to complete, which implies the speed of the algorithm. Because of discrete mathematical applications in algorithms, today's computers run faster than ever before. Now, let us see some patterns of theorems and proof which are used in mathematics. First one is implication. Let x and y be two mathematical statements. If x, then y. In logic, we denote this as x goes to y. The meaning of this is, if the mathematical statement x is true or the mathematical condition x holds, then the mathematical statement y is true. To prove this kind of a theorem, we first assume that the statement x is true. Then we have to prove that the statement y is a logical, informally we say reasonable, logical consequence of x. If we are able to do so, then we can claim that the theorem statement given in equation 1 is correct. Next is equivalence. Let x and y be two mathematical statements, x if and only if y. The meaning of statement 2 is if x then y and if y then x. In logic, we denote this equation as x implies y meet y implies x. To prove that x if and only if y, we have to prove that if x then y and if y then x are both true. Next kind of a proof is disproving. Given a mathematical theorem as equation 1, if we can find an example for x and y such that this example makes x to be true but y to be false, then we can claim that the theorem is incorrect. For example, if x square greater than 0, then x greater than 0 is incorrect, because we can find minus 1 such that minus 1 square is greater than 0, but minus 1 is less than 0. Such examples are called counter examples. Next is proving by contradiction. This is an important technique for proving mathematical results. Suppose a theorem is given as statement 1. The idea of proving by contradiction is, we first assume that the theorem is wrong. That is, we can have instances that make x true and y false. Then we argue that if this is the case, we can lead to a result showing that x is false. But the result contradicts our assumption that x is true. Therefore, the assumption will never happen and hence the theorem is correct. For example, consider the statement if x plus 1 greater than 2, then x greater than 1. To prove it by contradiction, we assume that there is an x such that x plus 1 is greater than 2 and x is less than or equal to 1. X less than or equal to 1 implies x plus 1 less than or equal to 1 plus 1, which is x plus 1 less than or equal to 2. Thus, the result x plus 1 less than or equal to 2 contradicts the assumption x plus 1 greater than 2. Therefore, the assumption will never happen and the theorem is correct. Proving by cases. Suppose we are given a theorem with respect to the domain D. If possible, we exhaust all of the examples in the domain to see if the theorem is correct. But in general, we are not able to do so because the domain is usually an infinite set, and even worse, the domain can be uncountable. The example, real numbers. To overcome this problem, we divide the domain into several categories and make sure that those categories cover the domain. Then we examine each case to see if the theorem is valid. If the theorem holds in every case, then the theorem is correct in the entire domain. Note that we must use the idea of universal generalization in the proof of each case. One way to get a feel for the subject is to consider the types of problems you solve in discrete mathematics. Here are a few discrete mathematics problems for you to try. The most popular mathematician in the world is throwing a party for all of his friends. As a way to kick things off, they decide that everyone should shake hands. Assuming all 10 people at the party each handshake with every other person, but not themselves obviously, exactly once, how many handshakes take place? Next problem. At the warm-up event of Oscar's All-Star Hot Dog Eating Contest, Al ate one hot dog. Bob then showed him up by eating 3 hot dogs. Not to be outdone, Carl ate 5. This continued with each contestant eating 2 more hot dogs than the previous contestant. How many hot dogs did Zeno, the 26th and final contestant, eat? How many hot dogs were eaten altogether? Another problem may be of this kind. While walking through a fictional forest, you encounter 3 trolls. Each is either a knight who always tells the truth or a knave who always lies. The trolls will not let you pass until you correctly identify each as either a knight or a knave. Each troll makes a single statement. Troll 1, if I am a knave, then there are exactly 2 knights here. Troll 2, troll 1 is lying. Troll 3, either we are all knaves or at least one of us is a knight. Which troll is which? Another interesting problem may be of this kind. Back in the days of yore, 5 small towns decided they wanted to build roads directly connecting each pair of towns. While the towns had plenty of money to build roads as long and as winding as they wished, it was very important that the roads not intersect with each other, as stop signs had not yet been invented. Also, tunnels and bridges were not allowed. Is it possible for each of these towns to build a road to each of the 4 other towns without creating any intersections? One reason it is difficult to define discrete mathematics is that it is a very broad description which encapsulates a large number of subjects. In this course, we will study 4 main topics: combinatorics, sequences, logic and graph theory. However, there are other topics that belong under the discrete umbrella, including computer science, abstract algebra, number theory, game theory, probability and geometry. Some of these, particularly the last 2, have both discrete and non-discrete variants. Now, let us summarize what we have discussed in this session. We have tried to see what discrete mathematics is and what are the main areas where it is being applied. We have also seen some problems in discrete mathematics and also some of the methods of theorem and proof used in mathematics. Now, let us see some assignment problems. First one, write a short note on various applications of discrete mathematics. Second one, what led to the development of discrete mathematics? Which are the main areas that come under the label of discrete mathematics? Fourth one, what are the additional advantages of learning discrete mathematics? The last one, try solving all those problems which I have given in the session by using your logical skills. Here are some books for further reading. Elements of Discrete Mathematics by C.L. Liu, Tata McGraw-Hill Publishing Company Limited, 2nd edition. Discrete Mathematics and its Application, 6th edition by Kenneth H. Rosen, TMH Education Private Limited. Set Theory and Related Topics, Seymour Lipschitz Schwarm Outline Series, 2nd edition, TMH Education Private Limited. Ultimately, the best way to learn what discrete math is about to do it. Before we can begin answering more complicated and fun problems, we must lay down some foundation. We will start by reviewing sets and functions in the framework of discrete mathematics from our next session. Till then, goodbye.